Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to another video. So today I thought it would be fun to answer some questions, drink some coffee, chat a little bit. I asked you guys on my Instagram stories, on both my shop Instagram and my personal Instagram, to send me some questions. If you guys are wondering, this is the Califia medium roast cold brew black coffee. She's pretty good. We've got our Oatly here, and I love it. It is a very good, sustainable, and ethical company as well, which we love to see. I also made homemade vanilla syrup for my coffees, and it's a 10 out of 10 time if you ask me. I love these a lot. These are from Imperfect Foods, which is a food delivery service that sends you imperfect foods. So like this whole bag is like the tiniest little like pretzel pieces that I just dropped. That's my little haul of food and coffee. Let's get into some questions. So first one I thought was kind of fun was, what are your thoughts on love/relationships? And somebody else also asked, have I ever been in a relationship? And I find it so funny that like majority of you guys don't know what my life was like pre-business or like pre-graduating from college. And it totally makes sense because majority of my following has come, you know, once I started my business. Yes, I have been in many relationships. I was definitely the kind of person that was always in a relationship in high school and even in college. I literally got broken up with right before the pandemic started, so that was really fun. But I've honestly had such a good time with it. I dated people for so long and just had never really been by myself. Like this is the longest I've been single in a very, very, very long time, probably since like middle school. So it's actually been really good and I've enjoyed it a lot. I thrive being single apparently, so I'm not mad about it. I feel like that's been such a big part of me, and everybody who knows me personally like knows that about me. I don't know, I don't feel this need to like be on dating apps or to be in a relationship or to be looking for that. As much as I want that sometimes, it's like at the same time I would rather just work on me and let the right person come instead of like me looking for it. I got a few questions that kind of go around like being in a slump or procrastinating or just like how to get yourself like motivated if you're not feeling it. I think that when you are self-employed, it is very difficult to get yourself to do things. You really have to be self-disciplined, and that's something that I've always been really good at. Not because I think I'm like the most self-disciplined person, but just because I'm a very anxious person. So if I don't get things done, it stresses me out. I don't find it too difficult to get myself to do things just because I also just love what I do. So getting to, you know, get up every day and like sew or like do photo shoots or whatever it may be is actually really fun for me. I don't see it as work so much sometimes because it is something I genuinely enjoy. But on the other side of it, because a lot of people are also asking just like creatively, like what do I do when I get in like a creative slump or like creative block? And that one is a little bit harder. I definitely do get that a lot. The way that I like to kind of help myself is to do something completely different. So it's like I go on walks or I, you know, hang out with my family. I like do whatever that isn't work for me to just get my mind off of it and then let the ideas naturally flow. I don't like to force creativity on myself at all. Even when it comes to making collections and stuff, I don't give myself like, okay, I need to put out a collection this day and I need to put a collection out like X amount of weeks after that. I don't give myself a timeline because I know I'm going to get in a like slump if I do that. So by not giving myself those like restrictions, it actually has allowed me to just be really creative all the time, and I get in less slumps, but I'm also like much more motivated and creative, which is really weird, but it works for me. I don't know if that would work for everybody, but like for me personally, that's what works the most. I also had a lot of you guys ask me about what my biggest goals are, just like ultimate goals. You know, I am somebody who definitely lives off of goals, and I do have a lot. Obviously 2020 was a really weird year for everybody, and my plans completely shifted from where I thought my life was going. In that sense, I've just kind of learned to not give myself like goals that are like too specific, if that makes sense. Like overall, I would say I'm like genuinely so content with life that I don't feel a need to be like, I don't know, reaching for too much. Like If it comes to me, great. If it doesn't, like, I'm very content with where I'm at too. Obviously, at some point in my life, I would love to get married and have a family, but that doesn't seem to be in my near future, so I don't know. I really love YouTube a lot, and I would like, I don't know, I would just love to grow that as well and build a bigger community on here. I think it's super fun. I would love to travel a lot more. I would love to like meet you guys around the world. I think that'd be so cool. I would love to do like pop-up shops, places, and like be able to do events for my brand as well. I also had a few of you guys ask if I was always an artistic person, if that's something that I've always been into and such. Yes, I've always been very, very artistic. When you are a creative, there's no specific look to it. That's something that took me a really long time to understand, but yeah, creativity comes in so many different ways, and being like artistic comes in so many different ways. Sewing is an art, so in that sense, obviously, yes. I was also like heavily into the performing arts when I was younger. I started playing piano when I was like 7 or 8 maybe, and I still play it to this day. I love it so much. I was in orchestra throughout middle school and high school, like all 7 years. Played violin, so like very heavy into that. I also played guitar. I sing as well, and like I love that. I used to sing at my church all the time. I was also a dancer growing up. I danced for like 10 years of my life, and I'm just starting up again, which is super fun. In that sense, I've always been into the arts in every way, shape, and form. I've always loved art in general too. I also got quite a few like financial questions, like how do I manage my money? How much should I invest? I did not start off with that much money, and you don't need to have like a lot of money to start a business. I think that's such a misconception. You can start with a lot less than what I did and totally be fine. A few of you also asked if I wasn't doing fashion, or if I hadn't chosen that as a career, what would have been my like other career that I would have like explored or gone into. I would do really well as like a social media manager or like in marketing, but like the creative aspect of it, like the photo shoots and the like, you know, curating feeds and stuff, like obviously I really love doing that, and I think that I would do well in that if I wasn't in fashion design. I don't know, like I just need to be creative, and I need something that is constantly changing, so that's like the one thing I can think of. I also got a few questions that were really nice, just being like, how are you actually doing, and how do you take care of your health, and like what's your daily routine and all that stuff. I also had somebody ask about my skincare routine, and somebody asked about my workout routine. So I'm gonna put that all together because I just feel like this is general wellness. How am I doing? I'm actually doing really good for once, but now being in my own space and being able to just like do what I need to do without like anybody around me, I've been really thriving. I am very introverted, so I really like being by myself and doing my own thing. Like I have enjoyed being by myself so much, which like I think for a lot of people sounds really depressing, but for me it's like so genuine. But it's also definitely been a journey in getting to that point. I had been suppressing my mental health struggles for so long, I think probably my entire life, that when 2020 hit, I just kind of like exploded in a lot of ways. And I've learned to, one, talk to people and not keep things to myself. So like, shout out to my friends for keeping me accountable. We have a weekly call, and that has been like my form of therapy, and I love it. Definitely having like actual deep conversations with friends has been really good for me. Obviously I've been able to hang out with my family a lot more over the past year, which has also been really nice. Learning to balance work and life has been very helpful in getting myself to where I am now. Learning to deal with my mental health has been quite the journey this year, but it's been super beneficial in like helping me in that sense, and making sure that I'm good and able to, you know, like run a business well and do things well. As far as my daily routine goes, I don't have like too much of a set routine. Like every morning, like I wake up, I make myself coffee, make myself breakfast. I don't check my phone until I'm done eating breakfast. Like I do not scroll through it in the morning. I don't scroll through it in bed. I just have noticed such a difference in just like taking that first like 20-ish minutes of the day to myself with like no noise, no nothing, because it's like completely silent. I'm not the type of person to like put music on in the morning or anything. Like I'm just in complete silence by myself for 20 minutes, and it is the greatest thing ever. I go to bed listening to the Bible in a Year podcast every night. I don't work out, which I don't know if that's a shock to people or not. For people in my personal life, that is no shock. I usually go through periods of time where I am really good about working out and then others where I'm not. Usually I'm really good in the spring, summer time because like the weather's nice. I feel like good about it, but once like fall and winter hits, like I never have a good workout routine because I just want to be like cozy, like in bed and not like work out. I do little things, but I don't have like a workout routine necessarily. I don't have any sort of diet. I just like love intuitive eating, like listen to what my body likes, doesn't like, eat when I want to eat what I want to eat whenever I want to eat it, and just balance it out. I think that's the best way to do it. And as far as my skincare routine, I do actually have one that I keep up with every single day. I do it at night when I'm in the shower and like right before I go to bed. I use Charisma. They are my freaking favorite. My friend Clarice actually owns the brand. It's her brand. It is incredible. Like obviously I got it at first because like it was her brand and I'm like, you know, supporting a friend, but like I've been using it for over a year consistently every single day. And my skin has never looked better. It's all clean and vegan and cruelty free and all the good things, but I will have that link down below for you guys if you want to check it out. I use all their products. We're gonna go into some like fashion questions real quick. First one is, how old were you when you started sewing? I was like 14, 15 when I actually started sewing, but I had been like dabbling in it before that. Second question, how did you learn to design garments before going to FIT, and how long did it take you? Like 4 years before I actually went to FIT. I would say I felt super confident in my sewing after like a year and a half of it. Somebody else asked, could you show us your portfolio that got you into FIT? And I actually have a whole video on that already, so I'm going to link it down below for you guys, but it's this video. I filmed it literally right after getting into FIT. Next question is, did FIT teach you about the business side of fashion and how to run a company? No. I did fashion design. I did 0 business classes. I'm sure that if I had taken the business classes, I would have learned, but I didn't take the business classes. I personally don't think that you need a business degree to have a business. I think for some businesses, maybe, but like for what I'm doing, you don't need a degree. Like, clearly, I'm doing just fine. Next question is, how's the best way to study fashion design besides college? YouTube, the internet. It's a wonderful resource. If you're trying to work in the industry, like working for a specific brand, going to fashion school will definitely help you get there. Like FIT, such a good name school to get you like those good internships and get you like in the industry if you want to be. But like my goal was never to work for a different brand. Like I always wanted my own brand, so I knew it wouldn't be necessary to do like a bachelor's or master's or like really go above and beyond in that sense of things. So if that's not your goal, then like don't worry about fashion school. But if that is your goal, then I would say yes, fashion school is probably important. I have started doing some tutorial videos for you guys on just like sewing, fashion design, pattern making, all that stuff. There's so many other people that do really great videos. I'm gonna give some subtle shout outs here. Transformations by Tracy, she's also an FIT grad. Kiana Bonolo also does it too. She also has videos and has patterns for them, and you can like buy them and follow along, which is really, really cool. Obviously there's big creators too, like with Wendy is one of like my favorites. She does so much sewing stuff that's really fun. Kulerpa is also really, really cool. I'll have a list of like my favorite creators that I personally like to go to down below. Next question is, where did you get your rotary cutter from? I got it from Joann's, but I can link one on Amazon. Rotary cutters have changed my life. How many machines do you use for making clothes for your brand? Realistically, I only use 2. I use my serger and my sewing machine, even though I have a lot of machines. Like I have an embroidery machine too, and I do use that sometimes, but I don't use it super consistently. Next one is, what are your favorite kinds of fabrics to use? Satin, I love using any sort of like jacquards or brocades or anything that's like just elegant and shiny. I love anything like that. Knit fabrics, I think they're just so easy to sew, and obviously I like the look of them as far as like how they fit the body nicely and how you don't need like darts or anything like that. Like they just like fit you like a glove. Next question is, what thread do you use? I worry about using polyester for sustainability reasons. I still use polyester thread. Like yes, I know polyester isn't sustainable, but sometimes like there isn't another good like sustainable option for things like that, like thread or just like little notions of sewing. Sometimes there isn't a sustainable alternative, but you also have to understand like thread is so small. It's like nothing compared to like polyester fabric and such. So don't beat yourself up about little things like that, because it's impossible to be 100% sustainable and perfect in that. Obviously, if you're worried about it, it means you're probably doing a billion other things right. You can't beat yourself up about little things like that. Somebody asked, what is the thing I enjoy the least working for my own brand? And I think pretty self-explanatory, taxes. Hate it. I don't like it. It sucks. I also got asked about shipping a few times. I got asked like if I have signed up with shipping companies or whatever. No, I use the USPS, the United States Postal Service, and I use Pirate Ship, which is a website that has all my orders from Squarespace and brings them into there and gives me a little bit cheaper rates, like a few cents less kind of thing. So that's the only thing with shipping. I don't use UPS or FedEx or DHL or any of those because they're more expensive, and I would rather give my customers cheaper shipping, even if it means it takes a few extra days. I got asked plenty of times what my tips for starting a business are, and if you haven't watched my starting a business video, you should definitely watch that because I answer probably all of your business questions in there. My number one tip is to just start. That's a very simple thing to say, but I think people get so caught up in all of these questions and what ifs and all these things that they forget to even just like think about starting. So just do it. Just put yourself out there. And the rest of the tips in this video. Somebody else asked if I maintain accounting books for my business. I don't have like accounting books, but I use QuickBooks to keep track of my expenses and just my finances in general. Right now, my business money and my personal money are all in my same bank account. I hope to change that eventually, but for now it just is the easiest way to do things. The next question is how to make sure you're paid for your time. This is something that I touched on in my finances video. I'm referencing this a lot, so you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't. You really have to know your worth and make sure you're pricing your items correctly to make sure you're getting paid enough. Price yourself like high enough in that labor of like actually making your item to be able to cover all these extra things. That's something that I'm recently implementing is adding in marketing costs into my product and adding just like extra labor time into it. Which goes with the next question, which is how do I determine pricing? Again, finances video, I break it down really, really well in there. Essentially, you want to look at your material cost, your labor cost, and your profit margin and put those all together and get your price. Next question is, do you have to get a permit to sell? And you don't need to until you make enough money for it. It varies by, you know, state and country, I would assume, but even like within the United States, it varies by state. So definitely check your state laws. But yeah, I have a business license for the state of Indiana. Next question is, do you spend more time on custom orders or your collections? I would say I spend more time on my collections. There's just more orders that I have to make for them. Though I do want to dedicate more time to custom orders, but obviously I need to wait till I have a seamstress to then be able to do that, which goes to the next question of how's the seamstress hiring going? It's actually going really well. I have a few potential seamstresses that I'm going to start off with for this next collection that I'm launching, and we're just gonna see where things go from there. Once, you know, that settles in and once they've been working for a while, I'll probably introduce them a little bit just because I think it's important to be transparent about who is making your clothes. When the time comes, you guys will probably meet them, but it's going really well and I'm excited to start on that journey. Next question is, how did you grow your brand so fast? Social media. That is literally the simplest term. I went viral on TikTok and I went viral on Instagram, and obviously my YouTube has been gaining a bigger audience lately, so those three combined have gotten me to where I am right now. And obviously just consistency with my social media and all of that, but again, that's something that I touched on my how I started a business video. Okay, I'm gonna go into some random last minute personal questions and then we will be done for today. First one is, what was your favorite year of high school? I genuinely enjoyed my high school experience for the most part. For whatever reason, sophomore year really, you know, stands out in my brain, probably because it was the only year I didn't date anybody and I was just big chilling with my friends. But also senior year was really, really fun just because of all the senior year activities. Obviously, I was like very solid in a friend group at that point. Prom and like the football games and all that fun stuff. Next question is, what is your personal style? I don't know how to describe my personal style. Like when I'm home, I really don't dress up and I'm always just like in sweats or in like PJ pants, whatever. Like I really don't care. Like I love like little vintage blouses and stuff like that, but I also feel like I'm like classy but also edgy. Like I love wearing like leather pants and like putting little dainty things with like big black boots and stuff like that. So some weird mix of like classy and edgy is probably what my personal style is. Next question is, how much of your closet is made up of clothes you made? Honestly, it wasn't a lot until I started my brand, and now I have one of everything I've ever made. So now it's starting to pile up in there, but realistically, I don't really wear the things I make that much because I feel weird about it. Like, I know it's like I should be doing it because like self-promo and all that, but sometimes I just like feel like it's almost like cocky in a way, and I don't like to do it. But I'm getting a little more comfortable with it because like I know I need to be like wearing these clothes, and like it's okay to wear things I've made, but for whatever reason, for the longest time, it like made me really uncomfy, so not a lot. The last question I want to answer, which I think is probably the most important one to answer, but I, for whatever reason, left it for last, is do you experience loneliness or anxiety from working at home, and how do you cope with this? I am a very anxious person. I don't think I ever put that on the internet much. I think I've like kind of slowly said that here and there in a few vlogs, but overall, my mental health is not 100% great. And I have a lot of struggles, to say the least. The loneliness of what 2020 was for everybody, on top of like now kind of choosing it for myself because I'm self-employed and work from home and all that, has definitely been really, really hard. And I have had to learn to like get out of the house and have learned to like have to reach out to people, because otherwise I just spiral down by myself, and it's very dark and not a good place to be. For me, one of my biggest coping mechanisms is like playing piano. Like, I mostly every night will sit there and just play for a while because it's like the one thing I feel like I can do. I don't need to be on my phone. I can't be on my phone while playing, and it's just like I'm in my own world, in my own space, doing my own thing. I journal a lot. I have so many notebooks. I love to just like write my feelings or like doodle or like whatever it may be. Like, I just like putting things on paper really helps. It's definitely really hard, and I think it's something that doesn't get talked about enough within the entrepreneurial like community. I feel like everybody's like such like big into hustle culture and like I do all these things and I'm so motivated and whatever, but like no one talks about how awful it can actually be for your mental health to be so alone all the time and to be like overworking yourself all the time. Just making sure that you're really in tune with yourself is very important. It's definitely what has helped me the most, especially since moving out and obviously being a heck of a lot lonelier. So that's that. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. That was a lot, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And let me know if you want more like sit down Q&A type of videos. I love just talking to you guys, so please let me know if that's something you'd like. And of course, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to get notified every time I upload a video. Definitely turn on the bell notification if you haven't already. And if you want to be featured in my next Q&A and you want your questions answered, be sure to follow both of my Instagrams. My shop Instagram is at Natalia Trevino and my personal is at natalia.trevino. That is it for today. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! That was so long. I'm so sorry. I need a thumbnail, so I'm just gonna like pose here. I should have done it before when I actually had my coffee full. Dang it. Oh, that's so, you know what? Am I gonna pour myself more coffee for the sake of a thumbnail? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we are. I'm literally like just leave this in here, and I'm going to screenshot myself later when I figure out what pose I like. This is literally the most awkward part of any video ever, is me just like trying to figure this out.